Make sure we're up. All right, we're rocking and rolling. Good. Hello. Welcome to Make Kind Loud, conversations that turn up the volume. From my heart to yours, I present Brian Schulman, and he is the founder and CEO of Voice Your Vibe, and we're going to talk about all amazing things. So thank you so much, Brian, for being able to join us today.
Yes, Lisa, thank you for having me. It's awesome to be here with you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to read a brief little snippet about you. So Brian is the founder of Voice Your Vibe, Forbes featured entrepreneur and LinkedIn local host. He is an amazing and inspirational content creator. Brian's mission for his content on LinkedIn is to simply change the life of one person a day, and it would be an understatement to say that he's achieved his goal. He's a mentor to many, advisor to some of the biggest brands in the U.S., and a friend to all who know him. So welcome, Brian.
Thank you.
So tell me about what Voice Your Vibe is.
Yeah, so Voice Your Vibe is really all about helping folks find their voice to be able to tell a story that people will fall in love with so that you can create a strong brand. But it really goes back to the very beginning for me.
Okay.
Because I was born 1.5 pounds in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
So I was a miracle baby. I wasn't supposed to live, and I didn't have a voice coming into this world. I literally fought for every breath to make it in. And then got diagnosed with a neurological disorder preteen called Tourette syndrome.
Okay.
So not only was I always the smallest kid, I was the weird kid. And for anybody that's not familiar with Tourette syndrome, basically they're uncontrollable tics and twitches, and usually you're not aware that you're doing them. So in the height of my Tourette's when I was a teen, I would be somersaulting from room to room, jumping up and down, making lots of different noises, multiple facial expressions, all these things, right? And some of them would commingle. And you know, I had a lot of love around me. I had a lot of friends around me, but I had a hard time fitting in. I was kind of on the outskirts, or at least, you know, I think I felt that way a lot. And so I had a hard time kind of finding my tribe, so to speak.
Gotcha.
So it was a process, you know, and there's people that come in and out of our lives, right, all the time.
Right.
But yeah, it was definitely tough. I mean, I dealt with a lot of dark moments, trying to kind of figure myself out. I am like blessed to have my mom, who was always there for me for everything. She is my genuine hero. And, you know, I would come home bawling from school, saying, you know, why does everybody keep making fun of me, and why isn't anybody like me? And I remember this, she took me into the bathroom, and she had this big mirror, and we sat down, and she said, okay, I want you to see something. And she did every tick and twitch that I did at the time, and then said, all right, I want you to let it rip. Whatever you've got in you, just let it go. And apparently I did. And my mom, who she is, then turned on some music and we started dancing. And so you know, you talk about the importance of kindness and good and positivity and light, and you know, I had that with her. I had that, and with so many others. But because of all the adversity, and I did get bullied. You know, growing up, and there's obviously multiple types of bullying that happen.
Right.
But, you know, I think it was one of those things where I said, you know, I don't ever want anyone to feel the way that I felt. And when I got into high school, I kind of started to get out of my shell a little bit and really find my tribe. And I, you know, I started to become that one who loved to bring people together, because I didn't want anyone to feel the way I felt. I wanted them to feel good, and I wanted to be kind to people. And so it kind of started there, and certainly grew into college, and life changed for me when I joined LinkedIn 15 years ago, where I really had a mission to use my voice and voice my vibe in a way that I hadn't before. And it was to make people feel good and to inspire people in some form or fashion. You know, if I could just inspire one person.
I love that. I love that. So from your background, being bullied, you just want everyone to feel good, basically.
I do. Because look, you know, it's, and I think you get this because it's like, you're all about kindness, and I love that. And I think it's, you know, some people sit there and go, well, what can one person do? You know, what is a kind word from just one person? And the reality is it's everything, because one person affects another person. You have a ripple effect that happens, and it's just,
exactly,
it's an incredible thing. And look, and I think you believe this too, is that, you know, yes, we live in a world that can be really negative at times, but I believe wholeheartedly there is so much more good and so much more positive in this world than there is negative.
I agree with that.
We just don't see it, right?
Exactly.
There's not enough. You don't turn on the news and see good. You know, it's like, but you can go to places where you feel good, you hear good, you see good. You know, there's random acts of kindness being done all over the world every single second of the day. It's just, you don't see or hear about them as much. So I think if we collectively can share the good, can put good out into the universe, can be kind to people, because you don't need a reason to be kind to people.
It's just something that we were born to do. We're born to be here for each other. Because I firmly believe that we belong to each other. So if you're going through something, then I need to do my best to help you through that. And so, like you just said, if everyone was just a little bit kinder, we would totally change the vibrational energy of this world. And
I'm with you.
Yeah, it's totally possible, but we have to be willing and open to make that first step. And so I love that that's what you're all about, is just wanting to make at least one person a day feel good. And I love that.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too that's really important is, you know, a lot of folks go through life and think, well, you know, I don't have a voice that matters, or I don't have a voice or a voice that matters, and I don't have a story or a story that matters. And the reality is every single one of us has a story that has the ability to impact somebody's life in a positive way. You know, I never thought I had a story.
Yeah,
I really didn't. To me, it was just, it's life. I just fall down, I get back up, I keep going. And, you know, it's just it. And I have so many friends that have been through so much in their life, and through so much trauma, mentally, physically, etc. And yet it's made them who they are. And by sharing your story, you know, I mentioned that I've been on LinkedIn for 15 years, every single day for 15 years. And just ago, when LinkedIn, I completely terrified and totally uncomfortable, got on camera when it launched in beta and shared my life story for the first time with the world. And I, you know, of all places to do that, you'd never think that someone would get personal like that, right? But that's what was happening at this time on this amazing platform, where it was human to human. People were getting real, and they were getting comfortable being uncomfortable, but they were sharing their heart. They were sharing from their heart, and the amount of love and encouragement and support was incredible. And so, you know, I think it's, for me, what I realized was when I did that, and once I started to see how people were reacting, I was blown away. I couldn't believe that I was actually able, just by sharing my own story and using my own voice, that I was able to actually help people, that I was inspiring people, that I was able to somehow make others feel like, wow, I can do this, or, you know, I do have a story, you know. And that's one of the things that I love, is that I want everyone to know that they have a voice and that they have a story, and that they can positively affect people by sharing that with folks. it's so amazing, right? It's so amazing.
And it's about that human connection too.
Yes.
Started sharing your story, then people felt more connected to you, and they're like, oh my goodness, let me share some of myself as well. And if we all can just share a little bit of ourselves, because when you get to know someone, it's hard to not want to get to know more. You know what I mean? Once you have those conversations, once you open up to the connection, it's hard not to want to get to know them on a deeper level. And I think that's what we're missing, is that the art of conversation needs to come back. And we need to be able to talk to each other and listen, not wait to reply, but to listen and have these conversations. We might have different opinions, but you might say something that I'm like, oh, wow, never thought about it that way. And so I love that you were open enough to share your story, and that people really resonated with that.
Yeah, and it's wild, right? And again, I think it's and it's scary. You know, it's scary to think, you know, what are people going to say? How are they going to react? You know, is this going to be helpful to anyone? And I think we all go through that in our head. It's really easy to get in our head. But I think the thing is if you know that you're not alone, right? You're not alone. You have people there to support you, that are there to encourage you, that are there to pick you up when you fall down or you stumble. And you know, knowing that you're in the journey together, that because I work with people every day that have those same fears, and I can relate to all of them because that was me. I was so scared. I had never done this before, what we're doing, you know. I had never put a camera in front of me and had to film it and write something to go with it and be comfortable. Like, gosh, I was so uncomfortable for so long. And, you know, I've made 260 something videos, for example, on LinkedIn, and I never thought I'd make one. But the amazing thing about it is, you know, I think we're all inspired in different ways.
Yes.
Right. And I think one of the things you said is so important, is that, like, as human beings, we are inspired by one another.
Indeed.
You know, we watch videos every day and so many different platforms, and they're, you know, people sharing their stories, or, you know, just in inspiration. You're like, wow, I can climb the highest mountain in the world. Like, if they can do it, I can do it, you know? And so I think it's just that thing. I want people to know that, you know, again, you have a voice and a story that matters, and you have the ability to share your voice and your kindness. And look, you know what? Everybody goes through crap in life, and some people are affected so much more than others. You know, I always say, like, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it.
Correct. And that is so true.
And it also is what we give out. You know, like, people ask me all the time, how are you so positive all the time? Look, I exude positivity because the alternative is not where I want to be. Like, I've had dull and down and dark moments. Like, I don't want to be, you know, but I don't want anyone else to be there, but we go through those things. And the reality is, I go through those things all the time.
Yeah.
But when you are kind, and when you give out good, and when you give out positivity, and you shed light on other people in a good way, you're also consuming that as you're giving it out, you know?
Exactly. You get back what you put off. And so it's a choice every day. Like you just said, crap happens. Difficult situations happen. Difficult people happen. But you don't have to fall prey to that. Just because they are being difficult does not mean that you have to meet them where they are. Because if you are giving off your positive energy, then it might not affect them right in that moment, but later on it could resonate with them. So I always by the way, I have 24 nieces and nephews, and my message—
oh my goodness,
there's a lot of them.
That's amazing.
There's a lot of them, and
the holidays must be incredible.
they are. We just had a really big gathering, and so I told them, I was like, you don't have to, you know, go be as low as they are. You can rise above, and you can shine brighter. Is it going to be hard sometimes? Yes, it is. However, how do you want to walk in life? Who do you want to be in life? And that's the question, because the choices are to be or not to be, literally.
That's right.
Kind or not to be kind, those are the options. And there's nothing really
100%.
between. So, like,
no, there isn't. And it's just, I think everybody, I think you just feel, I feel better when the most incredible gift in the world is to be able to positively affect another human being.
Yeah.
And it's addicting. It's addicting because everybody goes through things in life.
Right.
I've failed so much more in life and business than I've succeeded. And, I think the reality is that if you just keep getting up, no matter what you're going through,
yep.
right? It's okay to be going through stuff, but that doesn't mean you can't be kind while you're going through your stuff. And quite honestly, that shows so much strength in you. So much strength if you're able to be kind and you're able to be positive, even though you're going through hard stuff in life.
Exactly.
We're meant to. And by the way, like, thing that we go through, Louisa, everything we go through to go through. We don't have to know why. We are meant to make us better, faster, stronger. And it allows us to be able to reflect on those things and help others when they're going through their rough patches. And again, like, share stories. And I see Lynn commenting here, just talking about doing video. And yeah Lynn, 100%. Like, it's scary. It's scary. It's scary because you don't know what the heck you're doing, right? And it's also scary because you don't know what to say. And then you're like, well, how are other people going to react to what you're saying? And I think, I want to touch on this real quick, actually. So I didn't know when I jumped into this whole video thing, and since we're on video, it's relevant, right? I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. I didn't have any idea what I was doing, technologically, as well as just emotionally and everything.
Right.
And when I jumped on, LinkedIn video specifically, and I had done some video on Facebook, but the camera was flipped the other way. It was filming my monkeys, my kids, and whatever. It was never, it wasn't the me thing. I couldn't. Yeah. And that's the other thing. We all feel so weird looking at ourselves, right? If you're using your phone, you're staring at your this dot, or you're staring comfortable. But I think the thing is, be you. One of the things I tell people is that you have your own unique voice, you have your own unique laugh, and you have your own unique smile.
Yes.
No one else can take that from you, and no one in the world has it. It's yours. And if you just use that, and you just show up, and share you. You have to share your whole life story with people. Right. But one of the things you said, Louise, is, it's that thing that once you start to share parts of you, people want to get know more about you. They want to know you. They want to have a conversation with you. And that's the coolest thing about video, is that, it may be one way at times if you're recording it versus live stream, right? But it allows, it's the closest thing you can get without touching or smelling someone, right? It's like everything else is there. All your other sensories are there. And you have the ability to share your personality and just show up and be you and be kind and affect people in such a great way, and have a conversation. You can have a conversation in the threads. You can have conversations behind the scenes. You can get on the phone or get on video chats with people like we're doing.
Exactly.
But again, the key is just knowing that you're not alone, and knowing that you do have a voice, and that it has a way to affect people in a good way. All you got to do is take the leap. The first step's the hardest in anything.
In anything that
right?
And once you take that leap, you just got to keep moving forward, one step at a time.
Right.
So
that's right. Every day is day one.
I love that. Every day,
right?
Day one. I absolutely love that. Yeah.
And you're right. It's like every step matters, and we may step back. You may fall a few times backwards. It's okay. Those are steps too, because those steps matter also. It's not just about, always going forward. It's those backward steps that actually help us go forward. And then friends around us to be able to help us get through that. Because I'll tell you, like in my case, and I know so many folks that have gone through the same, it's so hard to think you're doing it alone, and to know that you're not alone, you know, and to know that you have support. It means the world. It's meant the world to me. I never could have gotten through the beginning or the middle or even where I am if I didn't have the support that I did. But see, I know what that feels like. You know, I know that terrifying feeling. And then once you keep taking those steps, then you realize with that support and all that kindness that others are sharing, right? You're like, wow, I want to do that too. It meant so much to me to have all of that kindness and support and love and encouragement. I want to give that to anybody and everybody that I see that's, for example, making videos, or, you know, that's, you know, I do public speaking too, or that's scared to get on stage for the first time, or that's whatever it is, just knowing that you're not alone in the universe, and knowing, you know, that's the beauty about this digital world we live in. You know, it's truly incredible, the relationships that you can build, the amount of kindness that comes out of the world and into the world, in this world that we're literally in right now talking in. And there's just so many amazing people out there, even those that are in deep, dark places. You know, they've got kindness in them. They can't dig out of it. And but your voice or my voice or anyone else's voice has the ability to help. All you have to do is voice your vibe. You just got to use it.
You just got to use it. And you're absolutely right. Like I firmly believe that there's more good in people than not. And so we make bad decisions. We make bad choices.
Oh yeah.
We choose bad things. But that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Those were just choices, right? And so you can make the other choice. And when you have people that you are seeing who's going out there and voicing their vibe, and who's using their voice for good, and who's wanting to help one person a day in a positive way, eventually, if you're receptive to it, then that will help you come out of your own shell and do that as well. And so I just applaud you for what you're doing. And I think it's absolutely amazing, from your story of being bullied as a child, from being different, but having the people in your life like your mom, and then your friends who were there to support and encourage you to be you. And so, because like you said, you have your voice. No one is Brian Schulman but you. And so we have to own who we are and put that out into the universe, because we are very unique people, and we need each other. We need all the uniqueness that is us.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We are all weird. We are there's a great acronym. I forgot what it's. Weird, exciting, incredible. I forgot what the other ones are. It's a great acronym, but it's so true. You know, we are all weird in a good way, in our own ways.
Yes.
And you gotta own that weirdness, you know, own it, because it makes you who you are. Right?
Yes, sir. I love that. That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you, Brian. Like, your message is powerful. And I mean, your energy is coming through the screen, and I just appreciate you and all that you're doing in the world. And I'm glad that Wendy connected us.
Yes.
Yeah. Wendy was like, you must meet Brian. I'm like, okay. Sounds good.
And I love what you're doing. You know, it's like kindness is the most important thing, you know, because if we're able to feel kind and be kind and give out kind, again, we each have the ability to affect one another in such a good way. And I think if we're able to bring that to light more and more, you know, no matter who you are and where you are, just knowing that we all have it in us and we all have the ability to give it, that it's the most incredible gift to give and it's the most incredible gift to receive.
Yes.
And so I appreciate you and all you're doing, and I love what you're doing, and thank you for using your voice and all the kindness and good that you share and all the folks that you have. It's awesome. So again, I appreciate you, and I want anybody and everybody that's watching just to know that you matter, and you have a voice, and your voice matters, and you have a story, and your story matters. And by the way, any of you that are, on the ledge or the edge and thinking about getting into things like video, for example, on LinkedIn, or in general for that matter, I'm here to help. I do actually, amongst all the things I'm involved in, I'm on boards and I advise startups and founders, and I do speaking engagements and I mentor, but I coach as well. And I love working with people one-on-one and helping them find their voice and voice their vibe and share their stories and know that there's all good that comes from all of that. So just definitely feel free. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can hit me up there. You can also just ping me, Brian@voiceyourvibe.com. But again, I just so love what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And if I can ever help you in any way, I'm always here to help wherever I can.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I think Lynn is going to contact you. She's raising her hand. She's like, okay. Yes. So,
all right. Awesome.
I appreciate that. If you don't mind, drop your links in the comments so that when people come back for the replay, they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. Will do. I will. All right. Thanks, Louisa.
Have a fantastic day.
I will. You too. And happy early New Year.
You too.
All right.
All right.